What's up, everybody? This is Eric Schessel coming at you with episode 8 of Boots, Banter, and Beyond, the Stories of Irreverent Warriors, the show where stories about how humor and camaraderie have changed people's lives for the better. I'm your host, as always. So we're gonna hop into this, right? So today we're gonna be chatting with Dave Vieira, who not only brought the first and only Afghanistan Iraq Veterans War Memorial to the state of Connecticut. He has now moved on to another venture that we're going to talk about. So we're going to dive into that. We're going to find out about his military service and as well as how he got involved with Irreverent Warriors in our organization here and how it's had an impact on him. Let's go. David, what's going on, man?
What's going on, brother? How are you?
I can't complain. Thanks for taking time to join us, man. How are you been? How are you?
Good, man. Busy. Yes, I'm happy to be here, though. I appreciate you asking me to be part of your show, man.
Oh, absolutely. And I appreciate you taking the time to allow me to interrogate you. I mean, interview you.
I'll take it.
So anybody that knows who you are knows that you had put together the Afghanistan Iraq Veterans Memorial Fund and everything like that, and you funded that, and we'll get into that a little bit. But a lot of things that we don't know is your military service and stuff like that. So why don't you give us a little bit of your background in the military and all that?
All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm a Army guy, Army National Guard. I went in 2007, and I got out in 2013. I did a tour to Afghanistan 2010 to 2011. I did 3 of the 6 years in the Guard, active duty, really. I was rear det, active duty for a medevac unit that was in Afghanistan. And then when they came home, I ended up going with the sister unit the following year. So it was an awesome mission. I never thought I'd be any part of medevac. That's not what I had envisioned when I first enlisted. But it's something that I definitely would do again. I mean, it's so incredible to be in a hostile environment where, and then your mission is there to save people, right? Like, typically you think of the military, you think of combat, you think of, kill the enemy. And, we defend ourselves, but our sole mission is to make sure our brothers and sisters get home safe, when they're out there in danger and something happens, that we're able to be there for them and make sure that they come home alive. So it was really a unique opportunity to see that mission firsthand. I went over, I originally was the readiness NCO for the medevac company. It was out of California, and we were made up of 3 different states. And then when I got there, I ended up doing flight operations, and then just kind of readiness / mobilization, NCO, a lot of admin stuff. So nothing too crazy as far as guts and glory go, but it was cool to see the mission and to, travel around the country and see some of the incredible acts of heroism by our pilots and our crew chiefs and our medics. So yeah, I mean, it was a life-changing experience. A lot of good stuff, a lot of not so good stuff, but overall, I wouldn't change anything for the world.
Well, that's good. I mean, and being a medic, there's a lot of stresses outside of just being in a normal combat zone. Like you kind of talked about, like keeping your battle buddies, up alive and all that, on top of being in those zones. I can't imagine the amount of stress that you had, that you were under in those situations.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just you're kind of a big target in the sky. The Geneva Convention, you can't have any mounted weaponry on anything with a red cross on it. So, and the enemy knows that, obviously. So, anytime you're flying around medevac, it's kind of a big bullseye. But that kind of makes it even more incredible to see some of the things that our guys, men and women, were able to do to save and bring a lot of brothers and sisters home that may have not made it back. So, like I said, an incredible mission. I talk to people now, young guys and girls that are thinking about joining the military, and they ask me, what would you do? Like, would you do it again? What do you recommend? What do you suggest for an MOS or a job in the military? And I steer everybody towards medevac, the mission, as even whether you want to be a pilot or a medic or a crew chief. I just think the mission is so important, and we need a lot of young people to get involved and stay involved to make sure that mission is successful, in the next war. So, yeah, I mean, it's incredible experience, and it kind of led me and drove me to continue the efforts after I got out. I think it kind of built this drive inside of me that when I was done with my service, it didn't go away. That drive continued, and I was able to funnel that, fortunately, into the different projects that that I've gotten into since I've been just a civilian. So
Right.
it's cool.
No, and you seem to. I mean, you got out and you marched right along as you said. And so the first thing that we'll kind of talk about is is obviously the Afghanistan Iraq Veterans War Memorial Fund, which is something that that you were driving force behind, and you got the first monument in the state of Connecticut. So why don't you tell us like what the driving force was behind that, what the monument means to you, and why it's significant? Give us that whole story.
So, I mean, I was fortunate to have the ability and the opportunity to lead that task, that mission. But I was surrounded by a team of veterans from Afghanistan and Iraq. We had a Vietnam veteran. We had a veteran of, it seemed like we had pretty much everybody from, except for maybe Korea and World War II. But it was a good mix of all the branches, all different times of service, and everyone just was super dedicated to making something happen. It happened in, well, man, I think back now. You're putting me on the spot here, but 22. So it was 2021. Just sitting at the VFW post, our local VFW post. It was me and a few Afghanistan Iraq vets, and we were talking about when there might be a monument built in Washington D.C. And we had looked up the statute behind that, and we found out there wouldn't be anything for quite a long time. 2032, I think, is the soonest they can do something there. So then we started looking at, was there something in the state, and rightfully so, there were Gold Star monuments in the state of Connecticut, and
Yep.
as there should be, but there was nothing really for everybody else. And we, talking amongst ourselves, we of course have visited the Gold Star monuments, and we go there to kind of pay homage and respect to those who made the ultimate sacrifice for us. But it's a different kind of connection, I think, for us versus like the family members and maybe some civilians. And we really wanted to create something that everyone could go to. Anyone, whether you served one day there, or you served 10 tours, if you knew somebody that maybe didn't make it home or you didn't, we wanted to have like this just almost like general space of honor and recognition for every veteran that served in both Afghanistan and Iraq. So that night we drew on the back of a bar napkin the sketch of an idea for this monument. And proud to say the monument ended up coming out pretty much exactly like the back of the napkin, which was pretty cool. So from that point forward, like veterans, I don't have to tell you, but you get set on a task or a mission, and you're not going to stop till it's done. So we said that we will do whatever it took, however long it took, to make it happen, and we just hit the ground running. And I was able to take point on it and make connections with local leadership, state leadership, the community, the veteran community, and everyone was super supportive.
No, they really were.
Yeah, I mean, it was I guess we kind of expected that it would be that way to a certain extent. Veteran cause, it's recognition of the wars, and everybody knows somebody, right? I think at this point, after 20 years of war in both theaters, but it's just I think it was surprising was kind of the overwhelming level of support. Everybody we talked to wanted to be a part of it. They wanted to contribute somehow. So something we thought may take 3, 4, 5 years, we did in 2 years, almost to the day. So it was amazing. I raised over $400,000 from having local little fundraisers at bars and restaurants to working with legislators to get state funding towards it. We did a couple of galas, a couple annual galas that raised a bunch of money, and so anyway, it was just it was incredible to see everything come together so quickly, and then for it to the end result to be even better than we imagined. I mean, the concept in the back of the napkin, yes, we made the maps and we made the towers, but we created this space. It wasn't just about the monument itself. We wanted this space of reflection and peace and solitude, and a place that veterans could go with their families, their children, their fellow soldiers, airmen, Marines, and kind of have a moment to kind of reconnect with their experiences, with their past, with their service, and it's it ended up better than I even hoped for. I've had people reach out to me since we had our dedication ceremony in May of 2024. I've had people from all branches reach out and tell me, thank you. I was there with my family. I was there with my brother that was there with me. And, it was cool to have a place that we could go that we felt like we were recognized for what we did. that this permanent place that will be there forever, for them to be able to go visit anytime they want, where they want to bring their friends, they want to sit there in a moment of silence on their own to reflect on their experiences and what they've gone through. That's what it was all about. And to hear people reach out already has blown me away. It's really special. And it kind of solidified the thought we had in the beginning and the efforts that it took to make it happen. It's all worth it, So I'm very proud of that. And I hope that people will visit it and bring their family and friends there for forever. I mean, because I think it's a special thing.
No, and it absolutely is. And showing up to the, because I was at the dedication ceremony and everything like that for it, and being there and seeing the monument, it was absolutely gorgeous. And you had a great piece of property right there for it to be put up and everything like that. And it's right there, and it's right on. It's just off just off one of the main roads right down there in Danbury, and it's just a great location for it. And so, so for anybody that's listening and you guys have not gone down to Danbury and seen this monument yet, you guys got to make your way down there because it is gorgeous. It is an absolute piece of art that needs to be looked at and admired, and taking the time to kind of reflect on what that monument means.
Right. I mean, we did it for everybody, right? Every veteran that served over there, every veteran in general, but every veteran from the Afghanistan-Iraq wars. I mean, this is for you. This is your monument. It's not my monument. It's not the Afghanistan-Iraq War Memorial Fund's monument. It's not Danbury's monument. It's not Connecticut's monument. It's your monument. So, go and see it, and and we're on social media, and we'll talk about my next project soon. But I'm always willing to answer questions about the project. The monument's at One Memorial Drive in Danbury, Connecticut. So if anybody is looking to check it out. But like I said, I'm on social media, and I love to hear the stories of people visiting it. And if they have questions, I love to answer them. So just because that project is mission complete doesn't mean that, I'm not here to talk about it. So just throw that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for that. So if anybody has questions on the monument, anything like that, then absolutely reach out through the website and everything like that on Facebook. You can find them right on Facebook, and then just message and the team there is good with responding. So a question on, because you guys drew everything like on the napkin, right? Did you guys like keep the napkin? Like, do you guys have that framed? Please, some of you guys have that framed.
I wish, man. We've looked, we've scoured, we have drawers and tables and carpets and garbages and man, it's funny because there's like probably 5 different stories from the 5 different guys that were there who took it. If somebody put it in their wallet that night, but no one can remember who it was, and everybody has a different idea who that might be. But I mean, I'm just hoping, we pray like that one day somebody just is going through like an old sock drawer and like somebody finds it, because it's one of those things, like it was an idea at a bar, right? And yes, we were gonna do everything we could to make it happen, but like you don't really believe that you're gonna get there. Like I guess you hope and you want to do everything you can to get there, but if we had known for sure like that was gonna happen, like we would have put that in a frame that night. But I guess there could have been a million variations between then. There could have been 100 things that happened that would have changed the plan, and it just didn't. And we were able to stick with that core drawing, and I hope that one day somebody finds it, because man, it would be awesome to see that again.
It would totally be awesome. So when the project was completed, I know that that you and your team, that night you guys went out to share a little bit of a bonding time, together as a mission complete. Give us a little insight of that. Like, how did you guys feel once you guys were able to go back there and be by yourselves as a team and be there and sit at the monument and kind of reflect on everything that had been done, that had been accomplished? What give us a little taste of what that felt like and what that meant to you.
Man, it was like one of those, like, it's surprising, you think that maybe like it would be like high fives and like, hugs, but it was like, I just like almost maybe overwhelming, where you just kind of you're quiet, like you're connected through the quiet to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're just kind of reflecting on, looking at it, and what made it even more special that night was the first night it was lit. So we had installed lighting, and through unbelievable support from the community, and specifically Rizzo Corporation, not only did they light our monument because it was in our design plan, but they lit every monument in the monument park there, which had never been lit before. So, but they had not turned that lights on for our monument until that dedication night. So not only were we there to kind of reflect on mission accomplished and to kind of just sit there and take a deep breath and take it in, but to see it light up for the first time, to be there like that first time that light came on, it made it even more surreal, and it just made it even better, more beautiful, more incredible than we had imagined or thought it was during the day. So it kind of just turned up the level on everything for that. So it was cool. It was special. It was I'd like to one day bring everybody down there, like everybody that was involved, like at nighttime, just like a chill, like just a nice, easy, like just let's just everybody have that moment. I think like that what we experienced that night, if they haven't had it already, because it was something special, and I think that other people would appreciate it. So
absolutely, you could probably totally get away with doing like a candlelight vigil type thing at some point, like on the anniversary of the monument being dedicated or something like that. You could totally do
read
something
my
like
mind,
that.
man.
Right?
Read my mind.
Because I think that would be, I mean, if you think about it, like if you wanted to have people come out and see it like at night and be there for when it's going to be most quiet, and then but also have an opportunity to honor them and
Right.
honor the people that the monument is for, then a candlelight vigil at night would be, I think would be cool and have a lot of meaning.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're 11 months out, but I'm already thinking about next year, the 1 year dedication of it, but what made it awesome too, and what drove us to make sure that we had it done by before Memorial Day was the Afghanistan-Iraq wars had never been recognized by the city of Danbury during Memorial Day. And okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, Danbury does an outstanding job recognizing veterans with memorials and ceremonies. And they recognize every war and every resident that died in any of the conflicts. But nothing had been done because there was nothing for Afghanistan and Iraq yet. So this Memorial Day was special to see the wreath laying at the memorial for Afghanistan and Iraq, to have the names read this year at the Memorial Day ceremony. So it kind of took what we did, up a notch. And I think a lot of people in the community were able to, appreciate that, the people that they knew, the wars that they grew up with, were recognized for the first time by the city. So, added to that long list of recognition that they participate in, they do every year. So that was pretty cool.
Absolutely. Totally. So, all right. So now that mission has been completed, you have moved on to another venture where you've created another nonprofit organization. And I'm going to pop up this right now. So we've got the Veterans Canine Equine Alliance. So sweet logo, by the way. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Tell us about that, and like why is that the direction that you decided to go in, and what you're trying to accomplish with this new organization?
Yeah. So, I don't know. So there's nothing really, I guess, specific. Like I'm not like, I don't have any real direct experience with, service dogs or equine therapy necessarily, but I have gone through a couple of sessions and got to experience a little bit. But what drove me is to seeing other veterans and how they have been supported by those programs and by the canine programs and the equine therapy programs. And then, talking to some of the people involved in those organizations and learning about, the cost of operation, right? So not only do they have to have a place to keep the animals, but to be able to host these therapy sessions and things like that. But, the overhead is enormous for some of these organizations, and specifically for the care of the animals. And I did some research looking just nationally, like who supports these organizations as far as the animal care, right? Because the cost is so high for some of them. And there was nothing.
Oh, yeah.
No one has done. I mean, we're fortunate that there's veterinarian clinics and there's food stores and things like that will donate, that will help on a local level. But that doesn't help everybody, right? That doesn't help even scratch the surface of helping everybody. So, my thought was, if it costs $5,000, $10,000 a year for a horse example, right? For food, veterinarian care, everything that goes beyond that, how much of that money, how much does that expense take away from the opportunity that they may have to help more veterans? So I thought, like, what happens if I were able to pool all of these organizations together, all these horses and all these dogs, and create like a national network of veterinarian and nutritional support, so that, I can fundraise on their behalf. And if I could cover even half of what they are responsible for, maybe they can, 20, 25%, 50%, 100% more sessions for veterans. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? That's what these organizations specialize in what they do. They fundraise, and they bring in the specialists and the professionals to work in these specialties with our veterans. And if I can do something that would allow them to do that more and more often, that's what I want to do. So that's where it kind of came from. It was, to find a way, build a network, to find a way and support that back end cost, I guess you could call it, for the care of the animals themselves, so that these organizations don't have to worry about that, and they can just focus on what they are good at, what the veterans need them to do. So.
No, that's awesome. And I can attest to going. I've participated with a couple of different organizations and their equine therapy programs. There's two great ones that I know of in the state of Connecticut. You got down in the Southeast, you got Vets, and then you have Healing Hoofbeats up in Litchfield County, and being able to kind of participate in both programs. It's great. Being able to, interacting with the horses themselves, because we, talking with Renee, in an interview earlier in the year, was that, the horses are just very intuitive creatures. And they read like your energy and everything like that. And they force you through that interaction to kind of lower your wall, lower your shield a little bit, and be vulnerable, because they sense that.
Right.
And so doing that and then being involved with that, I'm excited to see what you're able to do and everything like that. It's gonna be great. And I hope that I seriously hope that it has the impact, because I know that going to having and being a part of some of those modalities of therapy they work, and they definitely need the support from organizations like what you're trying to do. So I do absolutely sincerely wish you the best of luck with it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's a big effort, but I'm a maniac, so I won't stop until I figure out a way to make it happen.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a maniac. All right. So moving on into, so we've covered a lot of the non-IW side of the house here, but now I want to dig into, like, so how did you find out about Irreverent Warriors, and why did you choose to get involved?
Well, that would be you, sir. No, I had heard about it. Actually, man, that was probably like 2018, maybe. I was actually on vacation in Florida, and I was where was it? Fort Lauderdale, and I was at a bar at the beach, and I forget what it was. I think a guy and a girl came in, and they had saw my some of my tattoos, and I think I was wearing a grunt style shirt or something like that, and they asked me, "Are you a veteran?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." So we started talking and whatever, and they were veterans, and they were there for a silky hike, and I had never know what the hell a silky hike was. I didn't know really. I had heard about Irreverent Warriors, but I didn't really know anything about it at all. So they told me all about it, and they had asked me if I wanted to join the hike when I was there, but unfortunately I didn't get a chance to do that. So anyway, that kind of planted the seed about Irreverent Warriors and what they were about. So when I got home, I did some research, looking up different hikes, pictures, and stories, from people, and then I think it was 2021 that I saw you posted something about you were doing a fundraiser or information session at a brewery somewhere, and so I got my buddy. I'm like, hey, let's take a ride up there, because it wasn't close to where we live. I'm like, let's just take a ride up there and go say hi and meet this guy and see what they're all about in Connecticut, because they're going to do a hike here. And so I met you there, and I could tell you were a good dude and you were trying to do the right thing, and you told me more about the organization and about the upcoming hike. And so around that time is when this project was ramping up, and so we had created our beer for the memorial project. And when you were getting ready for a hike, I wanted to help, and I really didn't have the funds to like donate as a sponsor, but I thought maybe I could, with my connection to the brewery and just volunteering my own time, maybe we could support the hike along the way. So that's what we ended up, doing. And we were so excited to be there and be able to be a part of it. And, and that was the first time I got to see firsthand veterans as part of the hike, like to see what it was like, to see what everyone's experience was with it and everyone's reaction to it. And it was super cool to see just the camaraderie, the kindness, the the connection people were finding with each other. There was a lot of people there that seemed like knew each other, but there was a lot of people there that seemed like this was their first hike, and you really wouldn't be able to tell unless you heard them talking with each other, because everyone was just kind of mingling together. There was no outcast. There was no sense of not being included, and that was special to see what you had talked about and what I had learned about IW on my own, kind of to see it firsthand and to see like that's the real deal. Like what you guys are talking about and what IW writes about is actually what happens at these hikes. So I think my biggest regret at that time was I didn't get to be part of the hike. It was cool to be there, to be able to support the hike the way we did, but all it did was kind of wind me up for 2024. And as soon as I think the first day you posted the hike information, I joined. So I'll be hiking in 2024 with you guys.
Outstanding. You bring in the rest of your team with you. You bring in Fairfield
Yep.
County with you.
I'm going to try, man. I tell everybody about it. I know my buddy Nelson. He's coming. He's the one that was there with me for the beer.
Mm-hmm.
He was super into it, just like I was. And I think he may have registered the day after I did when she posted the registration for this year. So.
Yeah, you guys registered, and I was super excited when you guys did, especially because all the conversations we've had about when you guys were out there slinging the beer, you were like, man, I wish I was actually like hiking with you guys and not just slinging beer. Which of course, I mean, you guys could have just joined us, after you guys are done at that stop. I mean, you're veterans, right? You could have just
we followed you around. We stalked you around a little bit. We've moved to the next spots, that you went to, and we would drive there and get out and hang out with you guys there, and then drive to the next spot, hang out there. But it'll be cool to be, part of the actual hike this year. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, and it's gonna be fun this year. We got a few different interesting things planned. Different a different route this year. We're kicking off at Veterans Rally Point this year. So cool. There's gonna be a few other wrinkles and interesting tidbits along the way. So nice. It's gonna be another good experience for everybody involved. And as long as we're able to continue on and keep focus on the mission, it's always gonna be a successful event. So I'm excited, and I'm excited that you guys are gonna be there.
Yeah, we're super excited about it, and I have no doubt from just watching you do what you're doing with this organization, this project, that success would be. It's not even like a question. I mean, as long as you continue to lead this organization, the state, you're gonna just keep growing it. There's no question in my mind about that. So,
well, I appreciate that. Like you with, I would say, like you with the Afghanistan Iraq Memorial. Like I've got a solid team. We've got great people who all care about the mission. All care about its success and stuff like that. I just kind of steer the ship, so to speak. They're the ones that put in all the work, all the effort. So I can take minimal credit, but I got a great team that puts in a lot of work and a lot of effort, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to make sure that this organization chugs right along. So,
well, keep it up, man. Your leadership, it matters. You don't want to take credit, right? But it's it's a big part of the process and the product. So just keep doing what you're doing, man.
I will. Like you, I'm crazy, so I'm gonna just keep marching on until I'm. So you were at the hike last year and stuff like that. Did you have a favorite like experience or a conversation with anybody that you wanna share?
I mean, I think unfortunately, like I said, it was kind of limited as to what we were actually a part of besides some of your stops. But what I thought was pretty cool that stands out to me as a memory, for sure, was that when towards the end of the hike, when you ended up at Mohegan, you guys got together all around the fountain, and
yep.
and you guys did the chant, and that was cool to see everybody get together. I mean, you saw everybody in the place kind of stop and look and pay attention for a minute, and I think that's what that was all about. So to kind of see that togetherness and the being able to have a venue, so to speak, to kind of to speak the message, I thought it was really cool to see firsthand. And everybody, like I said, it kind of like it was when we first saw everybody at one of your stops with the beer, but everybody's just like super connected to it, living in the moment, really, I think, appreciating the camaraderie. So it was nice to see that all firsthand, and that was kind of like to me anyway, like kind of the culmination of the hike, and that was pretty neat.
The funny story about that is that came through because I had a a moment of, it was kind of not so much vengeance isn't the right word, but I was amped because so in the hike previous, so we've got one of our ambassadors. His name's Tyler, and he works in Mohegan. So like he's our Mohegan liaison for our
Okay.
Irreverent Warriors, as it were. And I was asking him like if people had remembered us or anything like that, and he was like, after talking with people throughout the casino, the only thing that people remembered were the dames for soldiers. My girlfriend Sarah and
Yeah.
her and all her lovely ladies in the polka dotted dresses that were like pointing us where to go. That's what people remembered. And I was like, wait a second. They didn't remember the 125, 130, whatever men and women walking in patriotic battle rattle, wearing flags and all kinds of other patriotic stuff. Like they don't remember that. And I said, no,
Right.
I'm changing that. So I said, Tyler, I said, what's the most open spot that we can get to so that we can do the mission statement and bring the roof down. Like they're going to remember that we walked through
This
there.
year.
And he was like, I got just the spot. And so it was rad. So it was right at the tree at the fountain right in front of Tuscany's. And yeah, no, I kind of like, I was amped up for it. Everybody was amped up for it. As soon as they realized what we were doing, we're like, oh no, this is going to be great. And I remember the first time yelling the mission statement, people all of a sudden were like startled, like what the heck is going on right now?
Yeah.
And then because you see all the people up on the second floor balcony, and then the second time, more people were like, what is going on right now? And of course, we had, I don't know if you saw, but we had Mohegan security were around the edges of us so that they made sure like we were left alone. But there were tons of people. And then I didn't remember yelling the third time. I know I yelled the mission the third time, but I yelled so loud I kind of blacked out for a second.
Yeah.
But
it was cool, man. You definitely everybody, they're not going to forget you. If you next time you're there, no one's ever going to forget you. That's for sure. Because you left your mark there.
And that's kind of and it wasn't so much for us and doing the mission. It was making sure that we as an organization were seen and heard and trying to just make sure that the people in the casino were like, what the heck is that? And then they ask questions, they look us up or whatever, they educate themselves on what we're doing, and hoping that eventually that turns into love and support of the organization, what we're trying to do in our mission. So that's kind of underneath, yes, wanting to bring the roof down and wanting them to know who the heck we were was obviously a big part of that. But the underlying cause was more or less just trying to get people to recognize and see the organization for what it is.
I'd say mission accomplished, man.
I hope so. And we're gonna do it again this year. And we're gonna do it every year beyond, as long as the casino doesn't kick us out.
Love it.
So going back to your new venture, right? So going back to the Veteran Canine Equine Alliance, do you guys have anything coming up? I know this is going to air. We're going to throw this up there on Monday. So what do you guys got going on towards the end of July, beginning August, September, and stuff like that? Do you guys have any events that we should be aware of?
Yeah. So I mean, the only thing I have on the books, so to speak, right now is on Saturday, August 10th. Is at the landing at 520 in Stratford. It's our first fundraising event, like official fundraising event. I did an event there in November of last year for the Memorial Project, and the team there has been super supportive of that project. And then they asked me what I was doing next. It's kind of been everybody's question. What are you doing next? So I told him about this project as soon as I started it, and he's like, "Yeah, when do you want to have one here again? When do you want to have an event here again?" So I took him up on his offer, and he has a beautiful spot right on the river, and there's a huge outdoor deck balcony area, so we'll be able to use that space. Last year it was a little cold to be out there, so it'll be just it's $40 a person, and it's 3 hours, beer, wine, food, and just a good time. We do some raffles and we have merchandise, but just everybody kind of getting together and learning a little bit more about the organization and what our plans are moving forward. So. That's going to be our next event, and it's open to anybody that wants to show up. Last year was a great time, and I anticipate that this year will be even better, being that it's summer and it's right on the water. It's a beautiful spot. So the landing 520, August 10th from 1 to 4.
1 to 4. We'll just be sure to share that flyer out through not only through Boots Banter and Beyond, but also through my own personal page and stuff like that. Make sure that that people are aware of it, and so that we can
Awesome.
drive people to come out and hang out.
Appreciate it.
So all right, so if someone heard this interview, right, and they wanted to find out more about you guys, and donate to the cause, support the organization, obviously, I can pull up the ticker again, but tell us, like, how can people get involved with you guys, and support your new venture?
So I mean, the best way right now, being that we're so new, and I'm just building everything I did with the last project, I'm starting over kind of with this project. But follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, the Veterans K9 Equine Alliance. We have our website. Thank you for scrolling that across there, k9equinealliance.org. Which is, it's kind of like, it's weird. I rushed them to build a landing page, so you have something you go to if you go to there. But I'm building on the back end now, so we'll have a lot more information kind of over the next few weeks that show up on the website. But for now, social media for sure will be the best way to kind of keep track of the things that are coming up, the events coming up, and more ways that people could get involved to help. And and this is a national effort, right? So this is a little bit different than the Memorial Project. So everything obviously was very focused on Connecticut, being that we were building Connecticut's first memorial for Afghanistan and Iraq. But we want to help canine and equine organizations across the country, that need it. So if anybody comes across this video, or anybody in a different state, please have them reach out as well. Canine equine organizations, if veterinarians that might be interested in becoming a part of this effort, please have them reach out. I'm very responsive on social media. My phone number's on social media if anybody ever wants to call me. So we're just trying to establish some relationships with people who want to be a part of something that I think is going to be really special, and it's going to help a lot of people.
Awesome. And yeah, we'll definitely make sure that we spread that word out, and get people as involved as they want to be, because obviously it's the people that get involved that are going to help make you guys a success, and drive y'all's mission forward. So,
yes, sir.
Last question that I have for you is, if anybody that would listen to this, what would you tell somebody who hasn't heard of Reverent Warriors, or has yet to pull the trigger and come out and join us on a hike? What advice would you give them about the Silky Psyche organization? What would you do to convince them to come out?
Do it, man. You won't regret it. Don't be nervous about it. Don't be shy about it. Don't worry about, we all have our things that we deal with, from our time in the service. I think everybody has something, some more than others, but don't let that be a deterrent. Everyone is super understanding, and everyone literally has been there, done that. So there should be no reason why you don't give it a try. I mean, when I was learning about the organization, I was a little hesitant, if I'm honest with everybody, about how it would be not knowing anybody. Especially I'm from a different part of the state than where Connecticut IW does their hike. So I didn't know if I would know anybody. Luckily, I had met Eric, so I knew one person. But once I saw how everybody is together and how people were there for their first time, and with the people who have been there for 100 times, it's like you feel everyone's personal mission, I think, is to make you feel at home, like no one's a stranger. So, I think that if the only thing I can think of as to why somebody wouldn't want to do it, it would be because they don't know anybody, maybe. But that shouldn't be something. Trust me, that's these guys are going to make you feel at home, like this is your 50th hike, and you're going to leave there waiting for the next hike, looking actually in other states so you could try other hikes with other groups, because of what a great time you're going to have, and just a sense of sense of comfort, I guess, safety. I think we all walk around a little bit with on edge, in the civilian world sometimes, and when you're in this group on this hike, everyone's got your six. So I think that's important to keep in mind when you're considering it, and I think you should you give it a try, and you won't regret it.
Absolutely. No, and I couldn't have said it better. Just do it. And of course, when you said just do it, I had the what's his name, Sheila Booth, doing his little green screen thing. Just do it. I wish I had that. I could have just popped that up there. That would have been perfect. Well, I think about that wraps it up. I think the work that you have done with the Afghanistan Monument and now the Canine Equine Alliance is, you guys doing so much good in the veteran community, not just here in Connecticut, but now with this new venture. Hopefully, you're going to have that same impact on a national level, and hopefully, people that listen to this episode will flock to your new organization, your new venture, and help make sure that you guys are a success, because you, like you said, you're a crazy man, and you're putting a lot of work and effort into it, and you really do help the veteran community as a whole. So hopefully that people will listen to this and come out and show you the support that you deserve.
I appreciate it, Eric, and thanks for taking the time to have me on here, man. It's my first interview for a podcast, and I'm glad it was yours, man. I wouldn't have picked another one to have a chance to try this out, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share my story and to hopefully connect folks with what I'm doing and with Irreverent Warriors, in the state of Connecticut and everywhere. So, thank you.
You're super welcome. And there you have it, ladies and gents. We want to thank David from the Veterans Canine Equine Alliance for spending some time with us. Thanks again, David. We really, really appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Be sure to share this episode far and wide so that we can bring a little bit of humor and camaraderie to anybody who might be listening. All right. So until next time, stay irreverent, my friends.
Take care.